Hello, happy Tuesday. So I had got prepared for doing this live yesterday, and I went a little cray-cray, and I wrote down so much stuff, because I was thinking, I listen to these podcasts every day, like different ones, and yesterday the podcast was talking about, like, how people can misrepresent God, and how some people have a different view of Him, and that's probably the main reason why a lot of people don't, try to seek Him or have a relationship with Him, because they see Him in a way that's not, it's not how He is. They see Him as some mean guy in the sky, like, you don't do this, or you're going to hell. You know what I mean? Like, He's not going to strike you down right now. So, eventually the things that you do will lead you to that, but He isn't like that. He just wants the best for you. So, I just kind of wrote down some verses that would make it make sense, if it doesn't already. Like I'm telling you, I wrote a lot. So, we'll start with this one. Matthew 22, 37 through 40. Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first greatest commandment. And second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demons of the prophets are based on these two commandments." So, He's saying that these are two of the most important. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. So, He needs to be in the center of everything you do. You need to think of Him before you take a shower. You need to think of Him while you're eating. You need to think of Him while you're talking to a friend. You need to think of Him all the time, which that sounds a little crazy to people that don't already have a relationship with Him, but once you have a relationship with Him, you really don't have a choice. You're going to think about Him all the time, because you love Him so much, because He loves you. He created you. So, all day long, that's all I think about is God. I think about God in everything I do. I think about God when I'm looking into Emma's little cute blue eyes, and thinking about how He made me wait for her when I wanted her, like, a long time ago. But God is never late. God is always on time. He's always on time. Sorry, I dropped a clip. He's always on time. He's never late. That's what I was thinking about last night when I was looking at Emma. She was laughing, acting crazy, spitting water everywhere. I was just like, wow, she is just so beautiful. You know what I mean? And as I was looking at her, she looks like Connor too. So I'm like thinking about Connor, and I'm like, oh, these kids are just so freaking awesome. Like, I love them so much. I cannot. But I don't know. It's just, yes, He says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. I mixed those two up. And then He said, second is equally important. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So, not only is He wanting you to love Him above everything, He wants you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Because He is all about love. Like I said, people think that He's just some big mean guy in the sky pointing His finger at you, telling you you're going to hell. But in reality, He's like, come here, my child, I love you. I want to help you. I want to heal you. I want to fill you with goodness and greatness. You just have to open your heart to Him, and it's just as easy as that, just asking Him into your life. People think it's this hard road. It is hard, I'm not gonna lie. If you're already in this, like, living this path where you're doing all these bad things, but once you start a relationship with him, you're not going to want to do any of that stuff anymore. It's not going to be that hard. You're just going to be like, cleanse me, God, let your will be done. Because, he is all-knowing. He knows, like I said, what you're going to do tomorrow. He knows when you're going to take a shower tomorrow. He knows, your kid's going to throw up on you at 2 a.m. Good morning. He knows all of that. So why not let him direct your life if he is all-knowing? He knows. He just knows everything. And if you just let him direct your path, you'll be filled with all this goodness and all this greatness and all this love. So, why would you want to go on your path when he's all-knowing? Do you know what I mean? You're just going to lead yourself down the wrong way. But anyways, what I'm trying to get to is that people have a misrepresentation of him, that he is so mean and all this. And it is mostly because of how people interpret him. I don't know what kind of church some of you grew up in. I didn't grow up in church at all. So I don't have this problem, but all these podcasts I listen to, I hear all these things about, these people grew up in church their whole life, and, their parents were very strict about what they do, and this and this and this and this. And I never had to do that because my parents weren't, we didn't go to church and stuff like that. So, I don't have that, but it makes sense that if you're going to a church or you're surrounded by mentors and stuff like that are giving you a misrepresentation of him, and they use it to scare you to do the right thing, you're eventually going to steer off and do your own thing. You're not gonna seek a relationship with him. You're just gonna be like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And then, you could continue to do that and not get tired of it, which you probably will. But what I'm saying is that isn't how you build a relationship with him, just going off of all these rules and regulations and stuff like that, which follow the commandments of the Bible, yes. But what I'm saying, if you've been through the Bible at all, the Pharisees judged Jesus because he broke some rules, which, wouldn't you if you could? But they, I don't know the exact verse, but when he went to go help somebody, but it was the Sabbath day, they didn't believe that he was the Messiah because I just heard something in my car. Sorry. They didn't believe he was the Messiah because he was working on the Sabbath day, and you're not supposed to do anything on Sabbath. You're not supposed to do any kind of work, anything. You're just supposed to be praising God. Back in the day, that's how it was. But he helped somebody on that day, and they said, you work on the Sabbath, so you're a bad person, blah blah blah. But if you look at us, we do bad stuff all day. We judge people, we lie, we say something rude, we talk about people behind their back, we may have bad thoughts, stuff like that. But he's not going to be like, oh, you're going to hell for that, you're going to die. No, he washes you of all that. There's a reason why Jesus died, so that way we don't have to go directly based off of all the rules that the Israelites had to go off of way back in the day. Because if you were on your menstrual cycle, you had to stay outside of away from a certain area for a certain amount of time to be cleansed. If you touched a dead body, if you think about today, funerals, people are going to touch dead bodies, getting them prepared for their funeral, and, people who do autopsies and stuff like that. you were considered unclean, and you would have to sacrifice an animal to cleanse yourself so you could be in the presence of God, or the temple, because that was the way that they could have a relationship with him, because he is so holy that you cannot just be, by him, talking to him, being in his presence, because you will die, because he is so holy. Yeah, you just have to go through the book, but I'm going way off topic, but what I'm trying to get to is that he is your father. Think of him as your father, because he is your father. He is your friend. He loves you. He created you. He knew exactly how you were going to be. He handcrafted you. He is an artist. That's what I was thinking about this morning as I was coming into work, because here there's actually a fall, and like the leaves change colors instead of like turning into twigs and dying like in Texas. But it's like very beautiful, and like the leaves are changing colors, and they're all kinds of reds and oranges and yellows, and it's just so beautiful, especially when the sun's rising and the sky is already orange and pink and shades of blue, and the sun is just coming up and it's just beaming on all these beautiful leaves. And I was just thinking, I stare at all these things that he's made, and I just wish I could stare at people, you know what I mean, and just see how beautiful he is to handcraft us. He handcrafted us all differently, and it's just so beautiful that he were to do that. Like, we all have different characteristics and different personalities and different emotions and different features, and it's just so beautiful that he handcrafted us that way. And he knew that, he needed me in this world, and he needed all of you in this world, because we're all different. We're supposed to be that way. Anyways, getting off track again, but I kind of wanted to explain that. Mark 12:30-31. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. Second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. That sounds exactly like the other verses I just read, but this is in a different part of the Bible. So he's saying this multiple times, so you need to pay attention, because he's trying to get it through your head. Like, he said it once, and then he said it again. He's like, hello, I need you to listen. Listen up, people. So, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. Second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. Think about that. Okay, next, Matthew 7:12. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law of the prophets. See, that we're going back again to God loves you. He loves everyone, and he wants everyone to treat everyone with love. In this world today, we're not doing that. We're, roasting people on Facebook, on whatever kind of social media y'all have. Roasting people, it's so fun. You roast people at your work. I mean, it's funny sometimes, but that's just negativity all around. But he just wants you to love others, because he loves everyone so much. He wants everyone to love everyone, because he is love. He is peace, and he is love. He wants you to be kind to others, and be kind to his children, because we're all his children, and he just wants us to be nice to each other. Think of him as a father. Think of it as your kids. Like, you're going to tell your kids, love your brother and sister. Don't be fighting. Love each other. You just want your kids to love each other, which they don't, but this is what he's telling us. Galatians 5:13. For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. So you have free will. He gave us free will to do what we want. So he is not this mean God that people perceive him as, like, do this, do this, do this. He gave us free will. He gave us instructions of how to have eternal life and how to be with him forever. He gave us these instructions. He gave us this whole book on how to get through life and get through depression, get through, people dying, get through sadness, get through stress, get through raising kids, get through friendships, get through the tough times, get through the good times. He gave you this whole book of how to get through every aspect of life. So, but some people choose to not follow that. He gave you the opportunity to do that because he loves you so much. He wants you to make your own decision. He wants you to follow him, but he's not going to make you, because then that's not sincere and that's not love. You have to choose to love him for who he is. That is why you have free will. He gave you free will so you can make your own decisions about that kind of thing. So that's another proof I'm trying to give you right now. Luke 6:31, and as you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Doesn't that sound kind of familiar? He is bringing this up again because he wants you to love each other. He wants us to love each other. Even in the difficult times, even when someone does something so bad to you or something so bad to your family, he still wants you to love others. Because, Jesus loved everybody. Even while he was dying on the cross, knowing that he was dying for us, he still loved us, and he still does love us. He died for us. Where am I? Galatians 6:9, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So, don't grow worried when you feel like you have a feeling to help somebody. Do it anyways. Just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. Just help them, just send that love, because, the day's going to come when you're going to be face to face with God, and he's going to be like, why did you not follow what I have told you? Why did you not give that person a ride? Why did you not pay for that woman's groceries? Why did you not help that man when he spilt all his, money on the ground or whatever? Like, just do it. If you have a feeling in your heart that you need to do that, that's God telling you, hey, help that person out. And then I wrote this, which is, I'm going to read. I don't know what kind of relationship that you all may have with God, or if you even have a relationship with him at all. But if you have been showed or told a wrong interpretation of God, I'd like to help you understand that he is not just some mean guy in the sky shaking his finger at all of you. Give me a second. For Jesus says, no longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all that I heard from my Father I have made known to you. God told him that we are no longer servants, we are friends. We are his friend. Think of him as your friend. He is not this big mean guy in the sky. He loves you. And then I wrote this. The church will judge you, shame you, hold things against you. Do not let that change how you view God. You are his child. You are his friend. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by him. He made you with his hands. Isaiah 43:1. Do not fear. I have redeemed you. I have summoned you. You are mine. He loves you so much. He just wants the best for you. He is your Father. He sent Jesus to be crucified on the cross so that you may be with him in heaven, paid an ultimate sacrifice to be with you forever. Forgives you of all your mistakes and sins. All of them. Washed clean. All he wants for you all he wants is for you to believe with all your heart, confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and that he died on the cross and rose from the grave 3 days later. I feel as though that is very little to ask for all that he has done for us. I mean, if you really think about it, he's just asking you to speak that. Speak that out loud with your mouth. Believe in your heart and your mind of what he has done for you. That's all he's asking you to do, so that you can be with him forever. Matthew 7:1-2. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So I looked up verses about judgment because once I was writing all this down and I was thinking about misrepresentation of God, these people that call themselves Christians, which y'all may be confused, I'm not sure, but they judge people for what they do. They tell them, even if you're in church every day, you're dressed nice, you're in church, don't miss a beat, you're in church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday, whatever days that you go to church, you're in all these, activities with your church, and you're doing all this extra stuff, even if you're donating and doing all this stuff, and then you turn around and you're judging your brothers and sisters in Christ. She has tattoos, she smokes, she drinks on the weekends, she does drugs, you don't need to be doing that. I mean, it's not your place to judge. That's God's job. It even says in the Bible, right here, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with measure you use, it will be measured to you. So the same amount of judgment that you give to somebody else, you're going to face God one day, and he's going to be like, oh, you think that you can judge these people? Well, I'm going to judge you now for how you judge them. Anyways, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to go on. Matthew 7:3. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. So how are you going to tell somebody that, you shouldn't be drinking on the weekends because that's not of God, and, you shouldn't be seeking pleasure in that when you should be seeking it from God? Fair, but that's none of your business. I'm not trying to sound rude, but it's none of your business. That is God's business. His business is to judge us. We are not to judge each other, because we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. The only perfect person was Jesus, God. So he is the one that judges. We do not judge. That is why we do not judge. I just can't. I don't know why I'm getting so hyped. Let me get my Bible real quick, because I wrote down these verses. I didn't write them down because, I was at work, so I really shouldn't have been doing all this, but give me a second. But yeah, I just felt like someone was going to be watching that needed to hear that. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm getting so hyped up right now. Okay. John 8:1-8. Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple. A crowd soon gathered and sat down and taught them. I'm sorry, guys. As he was speaking, the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. They put her in front of the crowd. "Teacher," they said to Jesus, "this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?" They were trying to trap him into saying something that they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. So, this is what I'm saying. This woman was caught in the act of adultery, and the people of religious law and the Pharisees brought her before Jesus pretty much just to catch him in something or make him look a certain way in front of other people, and they were wanting to stone her because of this one mistake that she had made. They wanted to kill her. They wanted to put her against a wall and throw stones at her until she died. That's awful. But anyways, he says, "But let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." If you have never sinned, go ahead and judge people. Judge people. But if you have sinned, don't. Because he says right here, do not do that. Okay. Luke. I'm just hitting y'all with the truth here. Hold on. Hold on to your pants. I'm just hitting y'all right now. 6:31 through 36. Let me get there. Okay. Luke 6:31 through 36. Do to others as you would like them to do to you. If you love only those who love you, why should you get credit for that? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good only to those who do good to you, why should you get credit? Even sinners do that much. And if you lend money only to those who can repay you, why should you get credit? Even sinners will lend to other sinners for a full return. Love your enemies, do good to them, lend to them without expecting to be repaid, and then your reward from heaven will be very great. And you will truly be acting as a child of the Most High, for He is kind to others who are unthankful and wicked. You must be compassionate just as your Father is compassionate. So, in this life, He wants us to follow the steps of Jesus. Jesus was kind to people who were mean to Him, who eventually killed Him, who turned their back on Him. You know, we face people like this every day. People stab us in the back every single day. He wants us to show them love anyways, because that is what it's all about. You know, that is what Christianity is about. It is, if you want to put it plainly, Christianity is love. You're supposed to love one another. And I am not perfect. I still am having a very hard time judging people. Not aloud, like I can control myself, but in my mind, like if someone does something, I just have these awful things I want to say, but I just don't. But still, like, I don't want to have to think that kind of stuff. I want to love people regardless, because that's what Jesus did. And I want to live my life the way that He wants me to live my life. That way, that shines off of me and other people see that and they're like, ooh, where is she getting that from? I want some of that. You know what I mean? Like, if we're living our lives in judgment and doing all these things, you know, not being nice to other people and judging them for, you know, oh, she went out to the bar yesterday and she's over here in church. You know, we should be giving those kind of people a round of applause. Honestly, not the people that are judging, but the people that are coming to church the day after, you know, they just sinned. Like, they're trying to fix themselves. They're trying to find something that they have been seeking in alcohol, drugs, love, lust, all these things. They're trying to seek that because they are missing God in their life. They're not filled. Without God, you're an empty glass. When you're with God, He is filling up your glass continuously. It's just overflowing. You are continuously full. So when you're this empty glass, you're constantly seeking for something to be, you know, filled into you. I gotta go get drunk because I gotta go feel good. And, you know, I'm gonna go smoke a blunt so I can go feel good, you know. I'm gonna go smoke some crack, whatever you're doing. Like, I'm gonna go find a new boyfriend even though I just broke up with mine, you know, yesterday. No judgment, but that's human nature. Like, you're gonna try to seek and find something to fill you up from all this emptiness that you have, and it's not God, so it's not going to fill you up. It's like you're putting this in your cup, but there is a hole in the bottom of your glass. So as you're putting all this stuff in, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're, you know, having sex every other day with different people, you're doing that to be filled, you know, like it feels good at the time, but it's not good for you, and it's just going right through you. It's not doing anything for you, but probably making everything worse. And I was also thinking about this, very weird, but I thought it was very relevant for this. So I don't know about y'all, but I love getting in like a burning hot shower. Like, that almost feels like it's burning my skin. Okay, maybe that's a little dramatic, but I love hot showers. They just feel so good and relaxing. And last night I was thinking back because I was taking a hot shower, and then I'm like, you know, hot showers really aren't good for you because, you know, they don't take away your inflammation. A cold shower would do that. A cold shower, if you take cold baths or cold showers, it's way better for you than taking a hot shower. I don't know if y'all knew that, but it like takes away inflammation, and it just does all this good stuff for your body. But, you know, we always want that hot shower because it always makes us feel good for the moment, but it's not good for us in the long run. Which I'm still going to take a hot shower, but this is just a good way to explain it. All these things feel good to us, and they feel so good, and you don't want to stop doing them. And, you know, I can't follow God because, you know, He doesn't want me to go out to the club every weekend, and I can't have fun with my friends I have now because that's all they want to do. And you know, I can't do that because, you know, that's how I socialize. I smoke weed with my friends, stuff like that. But you don't have to do all that stuff. You can find different friends. There's ways to get out of that. And then I also had watched a podcast, let me check the time. I watched a podcast yesterday that was talking about people who struggle with pornography, which is a real thing. People get addicted to pornography, and it's kind of very sad because it can turn into other things. But anyways, he was talking about people who were addicted to pornography, and he's a pastor and like a counselor, but he helps people through those things. And he was saying that, like, if someone comes in and says that they're struggling with pornography, he's like, oh, so how do you access the pornography? Like, what do you watch it on? And the people will say, oh, on my phone. And then he'll be like, so where's your phone right now? And they'll say, in my pocket. And he's like, I thought you said you were struggling. And they're like, I'm struggling. And he's like, but you're carrying around in your pocket all day, so how are you struggling? What he's getting to is that there's ways that you can stop that. And eventually the conversation escalates with them, and the person's like, so you want me to get rid of my phone? And he's like, well, in a short answer, yes, you can do that. But get something on your phone to where you can't access the internet, or get a flip phone. I mean, if it's that struggle for you, or if it's, you're having a hard time spending money on your credit card, get rid of your credit card. Or if, you're getting peer pressured and go drinking and that's all your friends want to do, get new friends. Just things like that. Like, it's not impossible to fix these things. It's just that people don't want to go through that hard season or that uncomfortable season of fixing themselves for that short period of uncomfortability, to get to that season of, peace and love and kindness and, these things that are so good for your soul. Because all these things that feel so good in the short term, short race, they feel so good, and you think that you can't get out of them, but in reality you can. You have to try. I mean, you have to try, and you have to do these things. I was really scared to move again from Texas, but I'm so glad I did, because it's taken me out of that comfortable state, and I'm not stuck there. Being comfortable is very dangerous. To me, it is. Like, being comfortable is so dangerous, because you could be stuck in that same pattern the rest of your life. When you go through an uncomfortable season for a couple months, and then, you're in this long-term season of just pure peace and happiness, and you're in a better job. And, when we moved up here, I didn't have a job for probably like a month and a half or 2 months. And, we struggled financially, but after I had Emma, all I ever wanted to do was stay home with her. And guess what I got to do for that period of time I didn't have a job? I got to stay home with my daughter and, watch her grow and watch her do these new things. Even though it was a short amount of time, I still got that desire that I wanted to just be with her throughout the days and just spend time with her and just show her that I loved her and take care of her. Which I still wish that I could be with her every day, but it's just, it's not in the path right now. But I am still so grateful for that short amount of time that I got to be with her day in and day out, and, her drive me crazy and put her to sleep and clean the house and all the chaos. I'm just so grateful that God let me experience that uncomfortableness, because there was still beauty in it. There was still beauty in the waiting period. And I just want y'all to know that if you have a misrepresentation of God that you've been fed to your whole life, or you went to a church one time and these people made you feel so uncomfortable that you didn't want to go back, that's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, if you're not comfortable with going to church, just get on a podcast or something, read your Bible, pray, ask Him into your heart, and you will feel His love, and it will fill your cup. It will overflow your cup. But yeah, that's just for anybody that's been having a difficult time believing that, or having this wrong representation of God, because He is not how the world makes Him sound. The devil wants you to think that. I mean, he's going to make you want to think that, and if people have made you feel that way, that's the people, that's not God. Don't let them, don't go back to a place like a church or anything like that they've made you feel that way. I would suggest trying a different church, or seeking a different type of community. You can find a different church. There's different churches everywhere, but if you're not comfortable with that, like I said, look up some podcasts. You can look up Sadie Robertson. You can look up MMA McDaniel. You can look up, and when you watch those, they have a bunch of different people on their podcasts that you can also look up. They have them on every a different one every time. They'll bring people on that have written books, that have spoken, that have done all these things. They'll bring on doctors and psychiatrists and stuff like that. And I would just suggest doing that if you don't feel comfortable going to church, because we're still not going to church because, I don't know, life's hectic, but, me and Nolan still read the Bible, and we still stay connected, we still pray, and all that. Eventually we will find a church, but that is not the only way to find God. You can do it on your own. But yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like I said, you can always message me if you have any questions. I'm not a professional, but I really like doing these because I know a couple of you have said that you liked them, and I don't know, the whole purpose of it was to help people and to tell people about God, because, He's like my Lord, Savior, Father, friend, BFF. He is like my rock. I couldn't get through life. Anyways, I love you all, and God bless you, love you, and I will see y'all maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see what God puts on my heart. I'm going to pray about it a little bit and see what He needs y'all to hear. So just thank y'all so much, and love you. Bye.